Okay, I'm here. My apologies, sweet crafty friends, but I was having major issues behind the scenes. It happens. It's real life. But I'm happy to be here and I'm going to get right to it. These are the new ISC stamps, Turning Leaves, absolutely gorgeous. And Winter Gathering and Hushed Light. Okay? I hope someone will join so that you can tell me whether you can hear me. Please let me know in the comments that you can hear me. That would be huge. Or I may have to reach out to my fam and say, hey, can you hear me? But I hope, let me just check my volume. Yeah, I think it's all good. So what I have in mind for today's live is super special because I'm going to showcase these gorgeous ISC images. And I do have and one of the makes has a surprise shaker twist. And a huge favor before I start, I'm trying to confirm if this QR code works. It worked on my end, but I'm going to bring it up really close. And if you can scan it, and I'd love it if you would join. And yes, I do have something for you, something super special. Okay, so let's jump right in and I will put these aside. First, I want to take a sip of water because those 15 minutes, can I tell you, it was intense. Intense, to say the least. Okay, so I'm going to use a bunch of scraps and some really cool digitals that I recently shared with our Museful makers. And what I want to do first is I've been thinking of I want to create a couple of cards using the stamps, but also then I want to add them onto the front of my journals. And what I have in mind here is I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use this. As I was walking my dog the other day, I picked this up and I said, I might use this. I'm not sure. But I grabbed a piece of chipboard from my recycle bin. And this is, I believe, rice paper. And again, just grabbing stuff from my stash. This is tissue paper. So what I want to do is let me first stamp on here. And I plan to stamp one of these gorgeous image. I hope you are doing well and that your day hasn't been too crazy. And what I want to do is when I plan to emboss and use embossing powder, I like to use these little magic bags, if you will. And everything that I'm going to use today will be linked in the description box below. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this image, Joy, and I'm going to use my Versamark. And I want to put this underneath like so. And I'm just going to stamp because I plan to cut around with my ruler, possibly, or scissors, I'm not sure, or my just my hands. And I'm using Superfine EP from Ranger, an oldie but a goodie. And the reason why I love that little embossing bag, because it minimizes how much embossing powder sticks to your surface. I want to put this back because I might spill it. And I'm going to use my heat tool. And during the first live, I was using this heat tool, and the ladies that were present said that they couldn't hear it. So I'm hoping that it won't be too loud for your ears. But this is one of my favorite heat tools of all times. It's the Heat It. Okay. Now, what I plan to do is, I think I'm going to use my ruler, and so that I can give this paper a like rough edges, if you will. I'm trying to achieve that effect. Like that. And don't throw these away because they might come in handy. Believe me, they will come in handy. Now, what I want to do is, I was thinking of, let me rip some of this paper as well. Here. And this one here. Side. Like so. And then what I want to do is, I think what I want is, I'm thinking of maybe doing this, I think, and then I might take this piece here, might go there. Let me see. Again, I'm just winging this, but I want this focal point right here. I want this somehow in my, I see that there are a couple of people. If you can let me know that you can hear me, I would be so, so grateful. Say, yes, I can hear you. That would be so sweet. Thank you. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Okay, so this is what I envisioned. Something like this. Okay? And then I'm going to cut this in here. This is what I think I want to do. I think. I'm actually going to cut this one a little bit more. And I think this is what I want. like that. Put that there, and like that. This is what I'm hoping to achieve. See how easy that was? Nothing too complicated. Super, super, super easy. Now, I do here, I know I can use my scissors, but I want to use this oldie but goodie. And sometimes I just don't feel comfortable using the scissors. I'd rather use this. I feel like I'm going to hurt myself. So this is the layout that I want. Just like that. Bring that down like this. And put that one there. Okay. Now, I want to trim some of the back. And I'm just going to go like that. And here, I'm just going to cut that off with my fingers. And I'm going to glue this in place. So I think, and I'm using 3-in-1 because I want to be able to move this around a little bit. I think I want to go like this. And then I want this one here. Like so. I want to put that one right there. And then I'm going to put this tissue. Oh my word, did that just bust? Oh my word. I didn't even know that. Never a dull moment in crafting. For surezies. Okay, so I want to bring this one down just a little bit more. Like that. And then I want to put the focal point right there. And I think I'm going to use a different glue because I had no idea that had a hole in it. Like, who knew? So I'm going to put this one. Has that ever happened to you? I literally just felt this amount of glue ooze on my fingers, and I'm like, what just happened? I had no idea. Whoops. So I'm going to put this joy stamp right there. And now I was thinking that since I want to keep it simple and I really want to show more beginner friendly techniques or steps so that it doesn't feel intimidating to create with your stash. So what I have here is a little bit of water, and I know I have the paint nearby. This is golden red iron acrylic paint, and what I want to do is show you how easy it is to add these splashes. And of course you should heat set it, but I won't do that now. But look how easy that is. Super, super easy. Not too complicated. And what I love is that it would go perfectly on your the front of your journal. And that's what I intend to do. See? Super, super, super easy. Okay? Now, the next make, I have seen different shutter card techniques and whatnot, and I wanted to change it up a little bit, as I like to do when I see something. And I love this mechanism so much that I said, oh my gosh, I've got to try it. So let me show you again. Is that not cool? This will look so pretty also on the front of your journal cover. Is that not neat? Okay. So with that being said, let's actually, I have the directions here that I want to, because I did not retain them in my mind, if you will. But let me just move this aside so that I can start the shaker card front. Okay. Okay. Now, and I plan to use Winter Gathering. What you're going to do first is decide on the color cardstock that you want to use. And I did do that a little in advance just to make sure. And what I have in mind, I will show you next. I plan to use red for my base, okay? And this shutter card is wicked easy to make. You're going to, and I did tweak the directions a little bit, and you can do that if you'd like. You're going to cut your cardstock at 6 3/4 by 4. I actually didn't know that that color was in the back. I kind of like that burgundy color. Ooh. And this is an oldie but a goodie. Doodle Makes Whirlwind. This is 2004. Use your stash, friends. Use your stash. Okay, so I think I like this color instead. And you're going to score at 1.5. And then at, what did I say? 4 3/4. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to score. Let me do this again because this cardstock is thick. So let me do this again. 1.5. Gotta press a little harder, Betsy. And 4 3/4. Okay. And then you're going to make that fold like so. Important to burnish these flaps. Wicked important. Okay? Just like so. And then I want to use green for the, well, actually, hold on. I want to use this cardstock. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of Christmas. A little bit of Christmas. Like in a couple of weeks, I think I'm going to start decorating our living room. The next piece, how about you if you celebrate Christmas? One of my favorite holidays. Christmas and Thanksgiving and Passover. So here, the next frame is 2 by 4 inches. Okay? Let's put this aside. And then you're going to cut 2 shutter pieces. And I'm using this lighter green at 2 inches by 2 1/4. And then you're going to cut another one at 2 1/8. My apologies. So it's 2 inches by 2 1/8. And then what you want to do is you're going to take one piece and you're going to, on the 2-inch side, you're going to mark at the, just draw a little pencil mark at the 1 inch, okay? And then you're going to turn it over onto the 2 1/8, and then you're going to draw a little line over 1.5, okay? And then you're going to, and let me show you. This is what you want to achieve, okay? You're going to grab both of these, and I'm using an embroidery clip. You can use a paper clip if you'd like. And then you're going to draw a line from the corner to that dot. And then from the corner to that dot. Okay? And then you're going to cut this out like so. Just like that. And now you have two shutters, okay? 2 1/2 by 2 by 2, 2 by 2 1/8. Okay? Now, what you want to do is, if you have a paper puncher, whether it's a circle or an oval, this is an oldie but goodie, and I think it's about, I want to say, it's about an inch and a half. Yep, an inch and a half widthwise and an inch and 3/4 length. Okay? And then you're going to take your frame that's 2 by 4 and kind of gauge the center. You don't want it to be all the way like this. You want it to you got to eyeball it a little bit. Okay? And I think this is good. Perfect. Now, before we proceed, I'm going to show you what I plan to do. You can, if you want, use this oval and put it in the center. I plan to stamp. You can use a digital, whatsoever your heart desires. Okay? And I think what I want is actually, I want to use Russet. And I'm going to use Russet Archival on the berries, like so. And then I'm going to use Olive on the leaf. and a little bit on the side here, like so. Okay, and now I'm going to stamp the oval that I cut a whole bunch the other day laying around, and I'm going to figure out where do I want this. I think I want it there. Okay, just like so. And then, and actually I missed that part with my ink, so I'm going to be a little bit more mindful and move it up a little bit. There's no mistakes in crafting, right? So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you why I am doing that, because I noticed that I'm missing that branch right there. So I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to stamp it again. Just like so. Okay? And now I will do a little bit of distressing, because once you glue this, it'll be difficult for you to kind of remove it and then distress it and put it back. So that's just a quick little tip to keep in mind. And now what I want to do is also, I'm going to distress the inside of this frame so that it makes it pop just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so this is going to go here like that. And before we go there, that's that one, that's this one. I'm going to just distress these on the side a little bit, like so. Super quick. I wish these little dauber thingies wouldn't, because if you're not careful, it just stains your work. They flake off. I know. It's like, don't flake off. Okay, so that's that there. And then what we're going to do is stamp the focal image on the pretty, I think this is rice paper, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. I'm looking for, what did I do with it? Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I want to do is dab my surface with my magic embossing bag. I don't want that there. And now I'm going to use my Versamark. Again, this is super, super easy. And we're going to stamp the focal point right in the center. Like so. And stand this up. I'm going to grab my little pan and emboss. This bag, is that not pretty? And I will heat set this. And trust me, once you make this shutter card, you're going to want to make a couple. I mean, like a few just prototypes, because I couldn't figure it out, and I really wanted a specific measurement for my journal cover that I'll show you in a second. So I did tweak it just a tad, but again, it's super, super easy. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section, and my email is also on the channel page, homepage. Okay, so is that not cool? Look at that. That is so neat. I love that. Now, I'm going to break this down, but just to shovel it a little bit more, the edges, with my ruler. And if you hear barking in the background, it's my oldest Rottweiler, Matt. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, let me see, where did it go? Okay. What I want to do now is show you the mechanism that I thought of the other day. And I don't know if it's like a packaging sleeve from when I had ISC online and did rubber stamping shows and scrapbooking shows. It's like a little plastic sleeve that I would use to store merchandise. And I thought, wouldn't it be so cool to use this as a shaker? So I started looking at my stuff, and I said, how can I make a shaker that won't ooze out glue and all that stuff, if you know what I mean? So I've had this stapeless, I think, gadget in my stuff for like ever. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to use this to seal and keep my beads and whatnot inside? So what I did is I measured like so, and then I cut this much off. It's like almost like a 1/2 inch off, I would say. I want to say, yeah, almost a 1/2 inch off. Okay. And then what I did was, and let me show you, I had a little piece here and I don't know what I did with it. What I did is I cut this off like so. And then you're going to take your stapeless gadget here, and you're going to bring it in. You want it to touch all the way to the back, okay? And it's going to seal. Is that not cool? It's going to seal your that cut that you made here, okay? And then what I did is I sealed it all the way around, as you can see there, okay? But before I sealed it, I added my little beads and confetti and Christmas tree. Now, what I plan to do is, where did it go? Oh, jeez Louise. Did I just drop it? I can't stop. Oh, here it is. It flew away. So now what I want to do is I want to, before I glue this, I want to ensure that I know where I want to put it. And I think this is where I want to put it, just like that. I want to put it here. and here. Okay? And I'm going to put it like that. I think that's what I want to do for now. Like this. Yep, and that's what I want. And now, yep, just like that. Okay? So, I'm going to take this off for a minute. And I want to center my frame. And I haven't put a lot of glue on it. So I'm going to take the oval frame that I cut from the 2x4 frame, and I want to center that right in the middle. Okay? Just like so. And I'm going to lift this here, just like that. Bring it down. Center that, just like that. I'm going to lift this up, and then I'm going to add a little bit more glue. And here as well. And I'm going to add my shaker. I did not test this last night or last week. I just played around. So this is literally live. Okay? Just like that. And now, just want to make sure that it's centered. Yep. Now I'm going to, and that's why I like my 3-in-1, but it is what it is. We're going to make do. Now I'm going to glue the 2x4 frame. It's important that you glue this part. Want it this way. Right here. I think it's this way. Yep. Or this way. This way. I'll do it just like that. And press and press. You can also add a little bit of ribbon if you'd like on the bottom. Completely up to you. Now, this is the fun part. We're almost done. You're going to lock. That's the shutter mechanism that you want to achieve. You're going to slide it in. And you want to be able to lock it just like so. You want to be able to center it just like that. Okay? And what you're going to do now is lift this flap up, and you're going to burnish it right up against that crease right there. And you're going to add some glue. Like so. I'm going to hold that there. I'm just going to turn this around because it's easier for me to control it this side, this flap with my hand. And just shift that a little bit. Okay. And now I'm going to burnish, lift and burnish this side, like so. Okay. I'm going to burnish that. And burnish this one. And yes, it worked. Yes. Is that not cool? That is so cool. I love that effect. Is that not cool? Okay. Now, what I want to do is add this to the front. And I'm thinking that I might use the green, this green. I'm not sure maybe I could. I don't know this green. Max, he's super territorial. Yeah, I think I like that green right there. Yes, I do. Yep. So I'm going to use a little bit of this glue. Oh my gosh. Cooperate. Okay. Like this. And that right there. Turn that off a little bit. And that will go right there. You can add, and I'll show you in a second when I was playing around with this technique, I will show you what I did. I'm going to put this right here as another option. Whoops. And now I'm going to grab the acrylic paint that I shared earlier. And I always like to dab a little bit on an extra piece of paper that I keep. And then I'm going to do that. And again, I kept this super easy and basic so that it doesn't, scare a potential beginner because it's super, super easy. And then when you open it, it reveals the snowberries with the shaker elements inside. And I'm going to get paint all over my hands, but I want to show you how pretty this will look on my journal cover. And it's completely up to you how you wish to adhere it. Okay? And then it opens up like so. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to put this aside to dry, and I want to show you again. This one, I used Hushed Lights, and these are all the stamps that I use from Hushed Lights. Super grungy. So there's that one, there's this one, and there's this one. Super easy, not too complicated. Everything I used is down below, and I want to thank you in advance if you catch the replay. This was supposed to be at 6, but technology glitches are sometimes out of our control. So the winners are Sandra S, Kimberly the Queen, 1961, and Brooke. You'll each be receiving an oldie but goodie stamp sheet that I shared during my first live. And also, each of you will receive a make. If you're international, I will be allowing you to choose a digital from my Ko-fi site. So, sweet friends, thank you so much for spending some time with me. And my apologies again for popping in 15 minutes late, but it's real life. Technology glitches are for realsies. And these beautiful stamp images are on my website. I do have some bundled images that are, I'm offering them at a special price until the end of this month. And thank you so much for your support, and hope to see you